Sheila agus fáilte rud chuig Córá. That's our teacher taught global conversation about Irish dancing, where we are today and where we're going. We have a fantastic selection of guests today, our panelists. So I'd like to start off by inviting Cian Nolan to introduce himself. Welcome, Cian.
Hello everybody. Glad to be on tonight, all the way from Limerick in Ireland, and dancing since I was 3 or so, and danced in shows, current AD with CLRG, and enjoy judging more than dancing. I can definitely judge better than dance right now in my life. But I had some good times dancing. So I'm glad to be here tonight to have a little Córá with all you people.
Excellent, great to have you.
Welcome, Cian. I was looking up interesting facts about Limerick, actually, and it is the first great city in the world that Manhattan's grid was based on. And the second most interesting thing was it said you can walk across a footbridge to County Clare. And I thought that was interesting. Wow. One of the highlights of Limerick was that you could walk across to County Clare. And which brings us to Michael Donnellan. How are you, Michael?
How are you, Michael? How are you? Hello to everybody.
Welcome.
And Michael.
Well, sir.
How are you all? Lovely to see you all. So I'm Michael Donnellan. I'm from County Clare. Like my brother Clare man here, Michael Dillon, very same. So yeah, I'm Mike Donnellan. I'm from Ennis in County Clare, and dancing since I was, I suppose, 4.5, maybe 5 years of age. So 20 years dancing now. That's why I teach resource maths. So I was involved in the shows as well for years and competed, for a big part of my life as well. And so Irish dancing has been a huge part of my existence thus far. And I'm delighted to be here this evening.
I was looking up, of course, there's so many things we could talk about from County Clare, but I was looking at Michael Holland, 1875, invented the submarine. And he took it to the American Navy, and they said, no, we don't, it's not ready. So he went to the Fenian Republican movement, and they actually paid for the first submarine to be built.
Wow.
And it was called Fenian Ram. But then they all went out, and the Fenians didn't pay the bill for the building of the submarine. So he went back to the American Navy, and they took it, and then he set up the Holland Torpedo Company. So
Wow.
So there you go. And we have another Clare person underneath you there, and that's Sheila Bremer. Welcome, Sheila, from Boston.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, Clare through Doonbeg, but here I am in Boston. So it's great to be part of this. Great to see everyone. Michael, I don't think I've seen you since COVID, and we were doing things back then. Cian, how are the kids? How are the twinsies and everyone, and the older one?
They're currently in bed sleep, which is a good thing.
Hey, I know it's late for you. So I'm originally from Connecticut, but I live here in Boston. Been here in Boston for about 40 years. I've had a long tradition of my school here in New England, and now I've kind of taken a step back and work for others, and it's great. And like you, I love judging, and I'm leaving the day after tomorrow at 5 a.m. to head out to the Western region. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I leave from there to go to Austin to hopefully welcome a new grandchild. So
wow, congratulations to the events.
Thank you. Lots of exciting things. So, and I'm so happy to be here and be a part of this. So Michael, thank you very much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Did you know Boston cancelled Christmas between 1659 and 1681?
I did hear that recently. Why? I forget why that
cancels Christmas. I mean, but anyhow, they did. And otherwise, it was all about the Irish. Now they built Boston, but that was all I could find out. But welcome very much. So, Colm Keogh, how are you?
I'm great, Michael. It's great to be here, and thanks for putting this together. I mean, at COVID, you were front and center. You started off the Facebook page, and it's good to see this continuing on. I'm just wondering, are you just making up these facts, or did you actually do some really great research?
No, these are actual facts. Well, according to the old AI Google, before we came on. But.
Okay, well, I'm Colm Keogh. I'm a member of An Comhdháil, adjudicator, teacher, musician, kind of anything that's had to be done up to. I sold raffle tickets when I was a kid at fetches. I've done every job I think that has to be done. It's great to be here, great to be involved. So thanks for inviting me on.
No problem at all. You got, and this is because of Kim, really. But Bram Stoker's Dracula was written. He's from Dublin, wasn't he? Bram
That's
Stoker.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Wrote Dracula, and they say it was based on St. Michael's Church, the mummified
All
body.
right. Okay.
Were they vandalized recently? Did I see somewhere?
Oh, listen, Dublin can be. We had a bit of a problem here just a year ago with a lot of that kind of stuff going on. But I'm not too sure about that particular church.
Yeah, someone broke into the church and vandalized the mummies.
Did they
apparently.
really? Wow.
But Kim Lancaster, who's our co-host here, she's going to Romania, the Dracula country, isn't that right?
Oh, great!
Good segue. Very good segue for Bram.
Thank you. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Yes, I'm fortunate
Thank you.
to be adjudicating the Europeans this year. I will miss our own Oireachtas, Eastern Canada Oireachtas.
Like me.
I've just been informed that I'm being awarded for my 30 plus years of service with CLRG. Which
You're
is
not going to be there.
Like Vicky, I am only in my 20s as well. So
I don't know how that happened.
You're getting the Gradam Award or something. I don't know if you're getting the Gradam Award.
Here's Benjamin buttoning myself here. But yes, and always a joy to have you guys on and speak about all things our passion, Irish dance, and to be with Glenn and Michael. So yes.
Right, welcome. And Glenn, last but not least, of course.
Yes, and I am one of your co-hosts, Glenn Simpson. I am very delighted to be here and to be part of this wee venture to give everybody around the world a chance to get together and chat. And as I said before, if you understand what the word fesh means and you regularly kick your own butt, you're very welcome to join in.
Brilliant. And Alex, our producer, of course, none of this could happen without. So he may appear. Is he appearing? He is. There's Alex. Our fantastic producer that keeps us all on straight and narrow. So, without further ado, Kim, what is our topic for today?
The topic for today is competition necessary to produce great dancers?
Kim, it is a very, very interesting topic. I think there's no right or wrong answer here. I think we have seen multiple world champions who have been just exceptionally brilliant in the competitive scene, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have transferred over to the professional life of Irish dancing in the same vein, if that makes sense. And in the same breath, I have danced with a number of dancers who have never won titles, let alone world titles, who have been exceptionally good show dancers.
Yeah.
And I think that's testament to their teachers. And I think I really firmly believe that if you have the fundamentals of impeccable timing, rhythm, and understanding of music, a really, really good musical ear, good foot placement, you're of good character, that you're well able to, work with people and listen to people and respect people's ways apart from your own that might be quite different to your own, together with another technical side, which is obviously, very, very good, upper body control and posture. You may have not won a title and you can absolutely excel. I have seen it a number of times. And, as somebody that's involved in the show scene now from the other side of the fence, of choreographing and recruiting dancers, you often get CVs in the door and it says world champion this world. I don't know that if that's a deal breaker anymore. I don't know if it ever was. The fundamentals that I mentioned above are paramount. But it doesn't necessarily, as I say, always cross over.
Yeah, I can agree with you, Michael. I've been in a similar situation where I have been part of the casting process for a number of productions. I feel like that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to work with a company and be able to work with choreography, given you're going to be pick stuff up as quickly as necessary. And in fact, one of the questions I would always ask is, have you ever done Ceilidh? So if you're a Ceilidh dancer, sometimes that transition is better to working within a company because you're used to working with people as opposed to focusing on yourself and maybe your 3 dances that you have that year to win that world championship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good point. Absolutely. Yep.
I know that when the girls, if I can jump in here, when, I have 3 girls, all beautiful dancers, and the twins went off to do a couple of shows. it was hard for them because they were coming directly from competitive dancing and to go into a show, and they didn't have that experience. And for them to learn the A part, the B part, and all that stuff, all of a sudden, very quickly, it was a lot of work for them. And they enjoyed it to a certain extent. But in the end, they decided they didn't want to be in shows. You know, they had been asked to be in others as well. And they said, no, we're good. They're actually working on their TC right now with Michael. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Very much. And they decided that for them, shows weren't the thing. That it wasn't.
It's a different challenge, absolutely. You know, for a lot of competitive dancers that have trained so ardently and so with a narrow focus and with a goal driven, the show can be from. You know, I understand all those parts of it as well, and I can see how kids would be like, just not for me.
Yeah, right. They enjoyed the travel.
Yeah.
Although they said it was, you know, tough, like getting on the bus, getting off the bus, staying in a hotel, not eating really healthy food. You know, it was a whole learning experience for them and quite a challenge. And I won't say that they didn't enjoy it or didn't appreciate it, but in the end, they said, no, we're not. This isn't for us, you know.
What maketh the dancer? I mean, is competition the driving force between making that standard that you can go on to be in the shows?
I think
if we didn't have competition.
Sorry, if I can just jump in. I think competition, it can obviously drive a person on and to another level. But competition also can hinder you in the anxiety, the nerves, the butterflies. I can't perform on the day.
Absolutely.
Whereas then if you jump across, pretty much I did, you get to be a free-flowing dancer when you probably are lucky enough to be in a show, and you get to go out there and just do your thing every night. It kind of lets you free, it lets you dance.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you don't have to kind of keep between the lines, all the things we look at when we're judging. You can kind of let it go and have a good time, entertain the audience, and earn your keep. You know, the anxiety thing, the nerves thing, if you're lucky enough to be a champion, the actual build-up of trying to come back and do it again, what it does to your inner self and your mental health, I could only just imagine. Actually, I did go through it, but like, listen, I think that a lot of dancers just are tied up and they just can't release and dance on the day. So competition can stunt your growth, but it can also be good for some people to kind of, I suppose, step up a level towards dancing in a class.
So, Colm, what age do you start your world championships at?
10.
You're under 10.
Yeah, under 10. But just going back to what they were saying there earlier on about competitions that make the dancer, and then we went straight into talking about the best dancers not making shows. Competition is great for the kids, not kids anymore, they're young ladies and gents, and they're going on that mightn't have been on a podium, might have been top 10. I know there's 2 ladies currently from our organisation are doing lead with Lord of the Dance at the moment that weren't champions. But competition was good for them because it's the discipline that it brings for everybody, because, you know, everybody's got a goal at a competition. And we all know when you go home after World Championships, there's only, 20 people going away with the first globe. And then others are just aiming to get a recall and others aiming to get top 10. And it's the discipline of competition that brings them on. And then when they go to the shows, whether they've got a globe or a medal or a recall, they've all had that same discipline at the competitions. And when they go to a show, then it's a whole different ballgame, but they've still all had the same discipline. Do you know? So I think from that point of view, competition is great. That, it produces winners. Competitions produces winners, and that's just life. And we all say that to our children and to our parents when they've had a bad day. Look, you know, these are lessons in life, and, you know, it can be disappointing sometimes, the highs and the lows and the roller coaster and that. But I think that competition is great for everybody, for going on to be a good dancer in the show, whether they've medalled or globed or recalled or whatever.
So
the discipline that competition brings.
But,
right? We're all agreeing that is a fair
well,
point.
we are all belonging to an organisation whose purpose really is there to organise competitions, isn't it, or monitor competitions?
Yeah.
About your teacher in like Eastern Europe or in Argentina, where competitions don't happen. Are they at a disadvantage? Can they bring their dancers on the same? You know, are they better off, maybe? The ones that aren't part of our organisation, those independent teachers who love Irish dancing. And we know them in Clare, they fill Glore maybe 2 or 3 nights in a row, and they've busloads of kids coming in to do their recital twice a year. Are we missing a trick there?
I think, Michael, you'll always have somebody that has talent will always come to the top, no matter where they are in the world. And if they're determined and they have that goal, they have all of the means there, whether it be Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, or I mean, there's everything is there now. But I think in general, I think we've all seen it in our classes. You can have a child that will dance in class and you kind of go, oh my God, these are terrible. And then they'll get out onto a stage at a competition and you kind of go, where did that come from? And some kids will just flourish on the stage and the competition. But if you're talented, then you don't have competitions. But I think they're few and far between. That's probably just my opinion. But I think you kind of need competition no matter where you are.
I think it's in anything you do, you know, whether it's a good restaurant, a good dancing school, a good runner, you do need that competition to have that goal to work towards and to push yourself and to push the school or whatever it is that you're pushing. Yeah. I do think you need competition, although I do find that the comment about ballet producing amazing talent without competition, how do we get to that point? How can we do something like that where maybe we aren't getting the kids so stressed out, where we are producing amazing dancers? But then again, they also have competition too. They might not have competition per se, but they do have auditions and how to get into the school. And so there is that level of competition, even though it might not be like us. But I agree. I think you have to have some sort, if you're going to advance, yeah, it's different if you're in Argentina or Africa and you don't have that advantage, then you're not going to get that push, that's something to lift you up. And yes, there are cases of amazing dancers coming out that they saw something on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, but I think those are few and far between, you know.
Do you think maybe we are majored out? I know 100 years ago when I danced, we did the regional Oireachtas, did the nationals, and we did the worlds. That was it, 3 majors a year. And now we have kids that don't ever get a reprieve. So they're at the All Irelands, the All Scots, this, that, the other. And it seems, do you think we might be causing competition fatigue or feis fatigue? Let's put it that way, as opposed to natural competition. Have you experienced that as a teacher, where you have a kid just be like, geez, I can't change dances and go now, I'm exhausted?
Well, I think Christmas time comes and everybody's happy, right? The qualifiers are all done. Everybody's, you know, they want to take a break. They might be learning new material and stuff like that, but it's definitely a very low-keyed month. I know the southern region is probably the last one, I think, of all the qualifiers, but I think once December hits and it's the holidays, the kids they just want a break, you know. And then the ones that are very competitive, yeah, they got to start working, thinking about the All Irelands and then to the Worlds. And, you know, now we've got the Great Britons and we've got All Scotlands and the Irish Nationals and this, that, and the other thing. So I do think there was fatigue. And when December hits, they want a break. They don't want to think about it. And of course, I'm thinking like, oh, we've got great exams to do. Let me do some classes. Let's learn new material. Let's do great exams for January. You know, let's get moving. We've got lots to do. So I have to sometimes think about, let's take it down a notch and let's give these kids a rest. You know, they need it. They're, you know, and they're doing schoolwork, and the older kids are getting ready for their university exams, and they've got to, in the United States, they've got to do their applications, and it's all due right before, you know, the New England Regional Oireachtas and stuff like that. So they're tired. The kids are tired. They're doing a lot. And, you know, I'm a school teacher too, so I see it from both points of view, how tired they are and how they're pushing everything. They're pushing for the qualifying event. They're pushing to get their grades done. They get tired in December. So I like to say that I give them a break, you know.
Yeah, that leads into a question I had actually about Christmas. How many of you guys actually would put on a Christmas recital or even a summer recital? And do you feel that a recital helps in any way with your competitive school? Whoever wants to take that first.
Great question.
If I could just say that, yeah, you can have a championship class that after qualifying, like Sheila was saying, they want to take a break. You definitely want to get your legs up for a week or two, or whatever the story might be, and enjoy some family time. But there are other people in the school that may not be that level. then there's schools that will put together a Christmas show.
Mm.
You got to keep them happy to keep people coming to your class, I guess, is the way I was saying it.
I think also the summer is at the end of the year for those same kids that you're talking about, Cian. Those are the same kids that the parents want to see. Okay, we don't go to feshes. We're not really into that yet, but we want to do something kind of to finish off the year. And I think that recital at the end of the year or Christmas or whatever is a good way to showcase those kids and keep them involved, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to promote our businesses, keep these kids going. Somebody's got to pay the rent in the summertime too, so that gives a good way also to bring in, some income as well, and showcase those kids that don't have those competitive opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because we all have those in our class, those kids that may not want to go to the major competitions, but they want to get a chance to show their stuff, and I always had a recital, and I find it was a great way to build like school spirit, as it were, within the kids that are not necessarily going to be like, oh, you're a national champion, right? That's great. But they're like, you're just the big girl in the class, and I see you dancing, and you're great. And maybe a chance to dance with them at the recital, I think, sometimes can help with the whole school spirit. Anybody else?
It's interesting to me that.
Sorry, what do you think about a class fesh? What do you think about that? Do you think it's good to be competitive within the class? What do you think? Anyone?
We had class fesh when I taught, and it was a class fesh that was everybody got a medal. There wasn't a lot of, it was more a pseudo recital for the most part. And it was an opportunity. I had a heavy, when I taught at the full time 100 years ago, a heavy competitive base. It was true, right? This is back in the early 90s. So, there was a lot of kids that didn't choose to compete financially for whatever reason, time-wise. So this was everyone gets a medal, look at us. It was also a big fundraiser for us to send those kids that were going to Worlds or Nationals money. Yeah,
that's important too, I never had, Kim, you and I never had a class fesh, but I participated in class feshes growing up in a very competitive school. So we had like multiple All-Ireland champions at the time. There was a world champion, we were All-Ireland champions, and loving it. But a very competitive school. But I remember it was a good atmosphere as well. But I felt as a teacher, a recital was just more welcoming and just in a more kind of all-encompassing, I suppose. It's just like.
Glenn, sorry to interject there. Do you think though that within a recital, there's actually competition there as well? Like, because we've got some leads there, and if you have a front line or a main number, I mean, they all get there. But it's just, I think, no matter what we get, whatever we talk about tonight, you'll always find an element of competition there, because it is in everyday life. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's not at the level that it would be at a major or something like that, but within a school recital like that, you've got the child thinking, God, if I do this, I might get onto the front line, or I might get into the centre or something like that. So the competition is always lurking there in the background,
And you have to make sure you give every kid the right number of minutes, don't you? Because something's planned there, and
it never worked out like that, though.
Right. And then sorry, go ahead.
If I could ask, in Keogh, what is the setup for majors? We're all familiar with the CLRG opportunities for majors, but what
you were saying earlier on,
others. Do you want to spell out ours? You're saying we all do it, but there's many viewers, hopefully, that won't know what our majors. So you want to elucidate on that there a little bit?
So we're probably at the other end of the scale, that we're kind of lacking majors, but I like, we've got our provincials, which would be that major, and then we've got our worlds. We did have an All-Ireland, but it kind of fell away, and we've a bit of a problem at the moment in that we just don't. We seem to be just one major short if we could get the All-Ireland back up again, and they have looked at it, and venues over here are not good at the moment, because City West is gone now. That's gone to, it was a COVID centre back in the day, and then it was taken over for the immigrants coming into the country, so that's gone. And that was a major one. Our worlds would be down in the INEC, so they were looking to go back there again. And then they've looked at all kinds of different places, and they just weren't there. So we're probably one, maybe two major short, and then you guys seem to have a major all of the time. Like the thing about having lots of majors like that, and I know what you're saying, that there's fatigue there, but I think now, from what I see and from what I read around the place, that not everybody's going to every major anymore. So it gives other kids a chance who are maybe knocking on the door to get that top box. And then when they meet up at a world by getting that at a major, and you know, the one thing that annoys me is when you hear commentary of, oh, well, such a one wasn't there and such a one wasn't there. Well, that happens in all sports. The major one is not there all the time. And that in itself, by winning that title, whatever it might be, can give them that extra 2 or 3% to maybe top box at the Worlds and maybe, you know, knock the current champion off the top box. So it's hard to know what the best thing is to do. I think we're just one or two short. And if everybody in CLRG is wanting to do every major, I don't think that's a thing anymore. So, you know, it's just trying to find a happy balance along the way. You know,
interesting. You're all talking about child fatigue or dancer fatigue. What about teacher fatigue?
Teacher fatigue.
But it is a real thing, is it not?
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's keeping your class fresh. As a teacher, do you need to go to all the majors? You've got a family of your own. Are you going to lose? You know, we really only get Christmas with our families if we go to all the majors. So how does that impact, and what does that fatigue and competition affect to your families and yourselves?
Well, I can say that since I gave up my own big school, I don't go to and the girls aren't dancing anymore. I don't go to the majors, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, it saves me money. You know, I actually could go on vacation elsewhere. There's a lot of perks to it, you know. So I was just actually thinking, should I go to the All Irelands this year or not? I don't know. It's a lot of money. Do I want to go? How many days do I want to go for? But I haven't been in a while. Maybe I should go. So yeah, there are advantages and disadvantages, but I don't know. I'm kind of loving those advantages of not going. Save money. Although I miss everyone. I miss the people. I miss the crack. I miss seeing the kids dance up on the big stage. So, you know, it has its pros and cons. So, Cian, you kind of went like that when I said that, right?
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying a different time in life with the kids and being married and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Kira's running the school, and I'm working on my own business and stuff. But I'm really enjoying the time for being in it so long with my parents. Everything that we did all the way through, it was all dance orientated. So it's nice to have a little bit of a space to do other things, to enjoy life.
I mean,
it's great.
Imagine like on a Sunday, you know, not going to a fash. It's like I go for a walk. It's a beautiful thing. I live by the water. It's not that I don't want to be dancing, and right now I am dancing every day, but it has those advantages to do something for ourselves that, you know, for years and years and years, you know, you're talking since 5 years old, you've been going to this and going to that and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, oh, I've kind of taken a step back and I enjoy this time or to cook something. Whoever cooked, you know, you're just like, you're running home from dancing class at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So it's another way of life. It's like, oh, is this what normal people do? You know, it's got
a bit lost though. I mean, I had a real identity issue. Like people go, what do you do for fun? I think, well, I do Irish dancing for fun. Yeah, but that's your job. But no, that's what I do for fun. And so who are we if we don't have Irish dancing in those majors, and who's winning where, and are we a bit lost when we get to that point?
Yeah, we are. I would attest to that. But so you have to find that new identity.
Yeah, what we've made over all the years that we're involved in the competition side of things, we've made great friends.
Yeah,
you guys, you know, we've met people that we're going to be friends with, like Mickey D and myself. Jeez, I don't know how long he had hair. It was a long time ago. So
no, I only have eyebrows. That's all. That's it.
They're getting bigger and bigger.
Compensation.
Yeah, but like we went through the mill in the trenches with dancing against each other. We went through auditions and TV shows with certain dance shows and stuff like that. Went on tour together for many years. Now we're on the judging circuit. Every now and again we get to meet up. We have a few beers. We have a nice chat. It's great. It's things like that dancing really has given us. It's not about the medal.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's about the medal. It's about making people, meeting people, and obviously I do get that love when I go in and see or sit at the table when I see two girls or two guys or whatever, and they're flying around and they're super brilliant. It just brings it all back. I just love it. It's an art form. It's our culture. I think that's, it should be promoted as being more cultural competition. Somewhat like I suppose the fla in the Irish music trad kind of thing. Colm can come in on that one. I wouldn't be too familiar with that, but I think if it was more of a really an accolade rather than being top of the box, maybe I think it might be better for kids. It's tough. The Irish dancing world is a different place in the last 30 years.
Yeah,
I think it's really tough on kids.
Yeah. I think Cian, you touched on something there brilliantly. I only 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, 10 days ago, I sat at a beautiful, beautiful hotel in Limerick, and I was at a lovely dinner surrounded by lovely people, looking up at you and Kira and your 3 kids, and it was your children's naming day. And I couldn't help but, and I had the honor of doing a reading at that particular, celebration. And I couldn't help but I was thinking to myself, 45 years ago, I met this guy, Cian Nolan, 45, like I'm 49 years of age, when you really think of it that way. I can't really remember ever I can remember not being able to walk, but I can't remember not knowing this fella, and the same with the likes of, Darren Maguire and Tara Barry, Pat Roddy, all these people that we grew up with. And I think we sometimes forget that Irish dancing has it to a degree. Yeah, it's about the scoreboard and it's about, the results, and it's about competitive, the competitive scene, and also the show scene now that has really taken off in the last kind of 20 years and so forth. But it is about that. I thought, this is great. Sitting there going, this is really what it's about. And I think we need to choose well and also give choice. And what I mean by that is we choose what we want to get out of Irish dancing, because it can give you a hell of a lot, be it travel, be it friendship, respect for yourself, respect for others, all these different things, the things that we learned as kids. But also to give choice to the kids, I think, is absolutely key as well. There's a lot of kids in my school that there are definitely 5 or 6 that will never compete. They don't want it. Their parents want them to do it for cultural reasons, for fitness, to make friends, whatever the case may be. There are parents that want their kids on that top box, and by Jesus, that better happen. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the time, they're the ones that may not make it to the top box, and that, but you don't know how to tell them, because the mother, would literally pull your arms off and beat you with your own arms. But then you choose. You can choose what I mean by choose what you want to get from it. In the other regard is, yes, there are maybe 150 majors per year. We don't have to go to all of them. We choose what ones we want to go to. There are 100 restaurants in Ennis. I don't eat out every night. We do. So I think when you kind of take a bit of a step back from it, you can think, right, I'll go to this fesh, maybe, and this fesh and this fesh, and that means maybe once a month. I did that. I scaled back a little bit. I was teaching 7 nights a week. I don't teach 7 nights a week anymore. I teach 4. I have 3 evenings free to myself. I make sure that happens. And you really take the good from it, if that makes sense. So that's what I kind of work off. Give choice and kind of choose well, if you can at all,
I like that. Give a choice, choose one. That's nice.
I like that too.